What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to give my opinion on what should happen in the ball-tampering incident. What should happen to the players, and just an update to opinion of what I think of the occurrences that have just taken place. Let's start off with the outcomes from ICC. Firstly, can I just say I'm very disappointed in the International Cricket Council. They have taken this way too lightly. With Kagiso Rabada, they were threatening to ban him for 2 matches just for getting a little bit aggressive on the field. It was wrong what he did. He shouldn't have shoulder charged, or whatever they said, shoulder tap, Steve Smith, but it happened and whatever. But they were going to ban him for that. Other instances, Michael Holding said at the game, there was a player who fake or cheated when he stumped one of the players without the ball in his wicket glove. He got banned for 3 matches. Steve Smith, the only one who's getting banned for 1 match in the ICC. That is shocking. Bancroft should have got also, and it's definitely David Warner, because he's already been in trouble. So that's my thoughts on ICC. I'm very disappointed in how they have taken to the situation. I think they could have handled this a lot better and been a bit more harsh on the decision that was made, and I definitely see that being the opinion of many other people. Cricket Australia, I must say credit to them. They haven't taken this lightly. They have gone straight for it. They've tackled the instances. There's going to be big sanctions coming later tonight, South African time, probably morning Australian time. But there's a lot of situations that are in place, and I think big things are going to happen. Now, Steve Smith and Warner and Bancroft have been sent home. Smith likely to has probably lost his captaincy. In fact, I think he has. David Warner vice captain, and I think T20 captain. That's all going to go. Bancroft obviously banned. Now, just to give my thoughts on this, what I think should happen when Australia make the final decision on this. Personally, number 1, Smith stripped of captaincy and banned for, I don't want to say for life. I don't think, I mean, it's a terrible thing that happened, and it's blatant cheating, but I'd maybe ban him for a 1.5 years, and that's how I see it. Bancroft, I'll ban for a season, just because he's young, and I feel for him. Michael Clark said he feels sorry for the man because he was the one who was told to do it. He's 25 years. He's played 7 test matches. He's a youngster. He's got his whole career ahead of him. And to have had these 2 leadership bokies, and David and Steve, to send him to go and tamper with the ball, it's sad, because it's just ruined his career. Yes, he might come back and be brilliant, but he's always going to have this at the back of his mind, which is quite sad. So for him, I would say season. David Warner probably should retire or be banned for cricket. And why I say that is because he's been caught in many instances before. He's got a temper problem, he's got a whining problem, and all that jazz. If you look on YouTube, you see top fights in cricket or something, David Warner's there. We saw the instance with Quinton de Kock. What one must realize is that Australians' banter is harsh and brutal, but in the good old days you could banter back. So if they're going for Sean Pollock because he walks with a floppy arm, or if they're going for Gibbsy because of the match fixing story, they'll harp at it and go for him. But then Gibbs and those guys can come back and go at the Aussies, say, well, you got this problem because of X, Y, and Z, and they'll shake your hand afterwards, have a drink with you after the game, and chat about the game. That was it. What happened on the field stayed on the field. It was never brought to a personal level. Now, obviously, we all know Quinton de Kock's surname is a name that will be made fun of by certain people. So Warner thought it was funny to make fun of his surname, bloody blah, so the rumours have said. And then de Kock fired back with the Sonny Bill Williams joke and a thing with his wife and all that drama that happened years ago. So Warner didn't take a liking to it. Now, if you walk the walk, you've got to talk the talk. Sorry, if you talk the talk, you've got to walk the walk. It was wrong from de Kock. You never get personal with someone's family. But David Warner chirps the biggest on that cricket field, and he needs to also learn to take it with a pinch of salt every now and then. I'm sure de Kock didn't mean it personally to offend him or his children, but again, it was wrong, and I'm not condoning it. But the Australian team needs to take this on. We've had instances where kickings were thrown at South African players. England's spoken about how brutal the Australian public, or crowd, sorry, not public, the fans can be on the field. Kevin Pietersen was really hounded, even in South Africa, because he's an old South African boy. So, but that is what made him the cricketer he is today. One of the world's best batsmen is Kevin Pietersen, or was before he retired, but that made him stronger. Now, this Australian team seems to be whining. And Darren Lehmann seems to be whining too, chirping that we're a disgraceful nation or crowd because we're going at the situation. Have a little sense of humour, Darren. And firstly, and now that brings me to you. You have a leadership committee. Now, your coach, your vice captain. I'm sure there's other senior players involved, so that isolated or whatever the story is, I think that's total bull. The fact that the coach doesn't have any involvement is also crap, because you clearly see Darren Lehmann on his mic and chatting to the 12th man, and then all of a sudden, whoops, the camera's on me, I'm putting it down and nothing's happened. That's what it looked like. So now tell me, how isn't he involved? If in the games I've played, and in the games I've coached, captain-coach relationship is so strong. They discuss about everything. They talk about the instances. They talk about what the game plans are, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, how we're going to cope with the loss, how we're going to cope with the win, what banter we could do, or vice versa, or whatever it may be. So to me, how can Steve Smith and Darren Lehmann not have a communication, or with David Warner as well? How can the three of them not have a communication on what the plan's going to be? Darren Lehmann still hasn't spoken out about this. He's kept quiet, he's kept his cool, but to me personally, he owes us an apology. He needs to explain himself. In fact, if he's got any decency, and I've got a lot of time for the man. I've met Darren, super character, joker, great person, but he needs to come forward. And he needs to do the noble thing, because ever since he took over the coaching of Australian cricket, this whole drama or this aggression in the Australian team has been formed. And people are calling them whiners and moaners and complainers, and they can't take their own medicine. Now, this is all under the leadership of Darren Lehmann. When Ricky Ponting was captain, that team was so well respected. When Pup was captain, Michael Clarke, for those who don't know his nickname, it was respected. And then obviously Darren came in, and Michael Clarke said halfway through his captaincy it was always coach, captain, blah, strength, leadership. Then it became board, CEO, team performance manager, head coach, captain, bottom of the food chain. Captain's the one who makes the decisions, so that was a tough one. So everything seems to be bottled up since Darren Lehmann's come in. So personally, sack Darren Lehmann, or let him do the noble thing and resign, because he can't face up to these things, and then we focus on a new coach for Cricket Australia. Personally, I'll go Justin Langer or Ricky Ponting, two of the greatest players in Australian cricket. So bring them in, totally transform that team, bring them back momentum, because there's no ways a coach who's now in this situation is going to be able to build this team up again. Australian cricket is hurting. They big dent, big pain, and a lot needs. They need a shake-up in order to bring this team back together. So for me, sack Mr. Lehmann and bring in new coaches and transform the team. So World Cup's right around the corner, so Australia really need to get their heads up. So those are my thoughts on all that. So Smithy banned for a year and a half. Warner banned for life in international cricket, just again from his from all the history of what he's been involved in, and Bancroft a season, if even. Maybe that's a bit too harsh, because he was the guy who was told what to do. So yeah, to the Australian public, it's quite humbling to see the passion and the love and respect. I've always known that they love their cricket and they love their sport, and it's a proud nation. Hence why I'm talking about it, because I've got a lot of time for Australians sport, especially cricket. And I know a lot of people are going, they always cheat and da 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 da. This has happened before, guys, and that's also what we must bring into account. Faf du Plessis, his little chewing gum incident, the zip story, it's happened, but again, it wasn't planned. Shahid Afridi used the cricket ball as an apple, trying to eat it to tamper with the ball. That to me is blatant ball tampering and shocking. Obviously I've mentioned Sachin Tendulkar and all that stuff. We've seen it happen. It's happened before. Pat Simcox was blatantly picking the ball quite a few years ago too. So it's happened. It's gonna sadly continue to happen. Hopefully it's reduced now with all the media and drama that's been put in place. So it's happened. So we need to just take that into account. The security or leadership within the teams need to focus on this to prevent it. So we can't just go at Australia and say, you guys are cheats, you guys are cheats, because at the end of the day, it's happened before, and we need it just now. Let's move on forward, wait till hear what the final outcome is, and then focus on what at hand, and that's the final test between South Africa and Australia. Give the players the respect they deserve in order to finish off this series with a bang, because we are overlooking what a great series this has been. It's been tight, it's been close, it's been anyone's game, and it's sad. I'm shattered for the fact that we've lost two amazing cricketers. I don't like David Warner, but I respect him as a cricketer, and he's a genius of a batsman. He's a genius of a fielder. Steve Smith, they're comparing to Don Bradman. I mean, he's a great leader, or was a great leader. He was a brilliant batsman, also an all-rounder. So I'm gutted for them, and I'm sure the fans will be too. Then we get to the kids who look up to their role models. I'm feeling for them too. When Hansi was kicked off as captain and banned for life, I was shattered because I looked up to the man. So I know that feeling of watching your role models get punished and all that stuff. So yeah, I bantered on a bit, but that's my thoughts of this game. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you can keep up to date with all future sporting content, especially cricket and rugby. So make sure you leave a comment and make sure you subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down below. What is the ban? Should they be banned for life, or should they be let off? Let me know in the thoughts below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys real soon for another video. Stay safe and never give up.